Big thanks go out to Tywa for supporting today's video via Patreon. Noctis, Prince of Lucis, versus Yurlok, Sithis, and Gonti. A bracket 4 game I'm after here, and yeah, we don't need 2 flash enablers. Not a lot of mana in this hand, so I'll have to ship it back. Okay, and could always go for a 3rd land and try a windfall off that, but I don't particularly like this either. Do we want to go down a card though? I'm going to risk this and try to get into that 3rd land. And Sithis seems to have passed straight through the turn, so hopefully we don't see a shame scoop here. Decided to discard hand size a plains, so seems to be playing it out. Okay, we draw into a power conduit. I don't want to get down the vexing bauble because it can counter some of our 0 CMC spells, which we do actually want to have resolved, so we need to be playing this once we're ready to combo off, which basically means we have Aetherflux Reservoir in play and then we can play an infinite number of spells with that. That is a Jadar, so after sack fodder, maybe he's gone for Gonti Aristocrats or something. Decided to discard the coloured mana as opposed to the Gavany Township, which he plays this turn, so likely only going to see Sithis on at least turn 3. And a land here would be excellent. We do not see it. We definitely need a 3rd land by next turn then. I'm going to get down the power conduit here so we can remove finality counters if we eventually start casting things from the graveyard. Night's Whisper puts the Gonti player up to 7 cards in hand again. Jadar goes down the middle, and the zombie swings in at us. That will be replaced at the end of the turn. Rampaging Ferocidon, players can't gain life, so we're going to have to see the back of that before we combo off, most likely. We have to pay 3 life per spell that we reanimate, but we're not going to be doing anything until we draw into another land. And we don't manage to draw into one. Black Mage's Rod goes well with our commander, we equip it to that, and then gain a decent amount of life as we go infinite, assuming that this isn't in play of course. So we'll just have to pass. Our opponents still have decent grips available to them at least. Solemn Simulacrum has the black player keeping ahead quite nicely on the curve. 2-2 back in at us, and Jadar back in down the middle. Sithis harvests hand into play by turn 3. Yurlok, the 2nd commander to hit play. And we get turn 4, a land, alright, and that is a Godless Shrine, so we can shock that in at least. And it will go some way to fixing our colours. Windfall. And there are 7 cards in Sithis' hand, so we each are going to draw 7 here. Decent number of artifacts being thrown into the bin, ready to reanimate. Okay, and there we've got Wayfarer's Bauble, a bunch of lands, so this is something more like the opening hand we would really have liked, because we'd be in a position now to go Toxic Deluge and wipe the board. That's probably what we're doing next turn. A Wayfarer's Bauble being played and cracked. Arcane Signet as well. Plenty of mana for the black player by the end of turn 5. 2-2 to the right. For the card draw we get Jadar. Zombie might as well swing in down the middle because it can't block anyway, but decides to hold it back. Decides to take the Solemn Simulacrum, so not allowing a card draw. Destiny Spinner is going to keep the enchantments and creatures from being countered. Will not gain a life with Sithis, but still draws a card. And Rampaging Ferocidon continuing to deal damage. I suppose that would be the argument for not swinging in with this, because it would be replaced and be damaged by the dinosaur. I'd rather be landing damage on my opponents though. Kenrith's Transformation going on to the dinosaur, so that fixes the life gain thing. It will also still be a 3-3, but it'll lose the menace as well. Now I'm just trying to plan out the next turn. I'm thinking we go for Toxic Deluge, wipe the board. We won't get the additional mana from Yurlok then, unfortunately, otherwise we could have cracked Wayfarer's Bauble and Entombed with the Jund mana. Maybe they'll be able to play out the commander again with haste. Anyway, a Spiteful Visions. This is going to care about the card draw and act as draw pain against us. So do we want to entomb now? I don't think so, because we don't know what other combo pieces we're going to try and get into. We could get down our commander and try to land Black Mage's Rod, I suppose. We'd have to equip that is the problem. Yeah, and then if we equip that, we can maybe combo off the next turn with the Chrome Mox. So I'm going to not show my opponents that we're aiming for that. Might just forego the Toxic Deluge and get down my commander then next turn. This thing is a total combo engine and it can combo off out of the blue. The problem is we don't know if our opponents are holding up interaction for it, but there's every chance that if we don't wipe the board, they'll use the interaction on each other and then not go after our commander. 3/3 goes in at Sithis. They seem to be ignoring us. Alright, that's a Sol Ring. That might change what we're able to do here then. We'll probably get down the Wayfarer's Bauble, and then if we're leaving this in play, we could crack it with the mana they give us, as well as go for the Entomb. So 1 damage when we draw, and then we get an additional draw as well. It's noteworthy. This is one of the more rare draw pain effects that actually affects the caster as well. So Yurlok's going to have to be careful also. But we're down below 30 already, thanks to our slow start. We do manage to get into another land. Alright, so in that case, let's go for more Orzhov mana, play out the Noctis, and then with the remaining floating mana from the Sol Ring, able to go for the Wayfarer's Bauble, and we'll hope that our commander doesn't go down here. Yeah, so at the moment it's 5 mana to play and equip the Black Mage's Rod, and then the Chrome Mox is 0 mana, so we can play that from the graveyard and gain life every time with Noctis, because it will be dealing damage. And as long as our opponents decide to stick around and not scoop, we'll consider that an infinite, because the fewer opponents we have, the less life we gain from this, because it's just 1 damage to each opponent, and the lifelink does matter with Noctis on that. Gonti, Lord of Luxury now entering. We have to hope that they don't get rid of a vital combo piece from us. Suppose we'll be able to check that when we go for this Entomb, although they're not aiming at us, they're going after Sithis. A Seal Away. Exile a tapped creature an opponent controls, so that probably goes after the Yurlok. We should still be able to Entomb on our turn, although this player might have spot removal to get rid of this, so while they're concentrating all their interaction on each other, hopefully it's not going to be saved for us, although they still have decent grips in hand. A Burnished Heart, because apparently he hasn't ramped enough, but I'm fine for him to tap out. Ideally we'd have all of our opponents tapping out. It is noteworthy that Seal Away is underneath or over the top of Yurlok, so that hasn't gone back to the command zone, suggesting that they can remove Seal Away. And then all the damage went through to, that must have been, yeah, 5 damage through to the Jund player. Right, so Flourishing goes nicely with the draw pain over there, so we'll be able to play additional land cards and draw additional cards. Does mean that we're going to get burned faster though. Sithis draws a card for casting that, so goes down to 28. We are still the lowest here though. Reliquary Tower gives him no max hand size. I'm hoping he taps down that white mana, because I'm not hopeful that he's not going to have a swords or something. And then we see Satyr Enchanter. Our opponents are somewhat still setting up. The Jund player does seem to hold up mana during the opponent's turns though for the spot removal that we're assuming he has in a Jund deck. And there it is, a Beast Within that could have dealt with our commander. Instead goes on to the Seal Away that was stolen from the Sithis player. So we got that with Gonti and decided to bring back in the commander, which now does not have Summoning Sickness. He's going to draw a bunch of additional cards thanks to the 2 enchantments. A Stone Shaker Shaman. At the beginning of each player's end step, they sacrifice an untapped land of their choice. With any luck, we'll have won by them. Rampant Growth. Mogis, God of Slaughter after that as well. So just getting all the burn effects down, but our opponents are tapping out here. Let's go for the Wayfarer's Bauble, use the Gruul mana and hold up the black for the Entomb. Now the risk is that our opponents have been given mana. The black player is holding up priority as well. So do we show them that we've got a combo piece available? We've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana next turn, so we should easily be able to make something work. Yeah, I'm just going to pass here, because I don't trust that they won't use that mana. Priority has been held up by the black player. Luckily we haven't looked all that threatening all game. So I think if we combo off here, we're just going to have to use our imagination that all 3 opponents would stick the game out and actually take all the damage, which makes a difference with regards to life gain and the new Black Mage's Rod, which is really interesting for a black card because it's a prowess type enabler, that it triggers on non-creature spells being cast and deals damage. It's weird for a black card, but the type of effect that is going to make a huge difference throughout Commander and Magic the Gathering in general maybe. We are not sacrificing Noctis, so we go down to 24 with the Mogis. Okay, and there's a Bolas's Citadel. If I had the mana, then we could look at the Aetherflux Reservoir. We've seen that combo plenty of times on the channel before already, so probably not going to bother with that. We draw another one from the Spiteful Visions and one from the Rites of Flourishing as well. Draw into Savine's Reclamation for grabbing back the enchantment that I can't remember the name of. Solemnity, the white 3-mana enchantment that allows us to not put counters on things, which means nothing enters with finality counters. Alright, let's drop a swamp and we'll play the Black Mage's Rod first of all. This will cost us 3 life and obviously we have to pay the cost as well. And now it will still ping our opponents if it's unequipped from Noctis, but you don't get the life gain because this doesn't have lifelink, so we just get a token and we do need to re-equip this. So put it onto Noctis and now we can go for the Entomb, and this is any card into the graveyard, so that's a non-creature spell. We'll gain 3 life from pinging all of our opponents and go up to 21. It's a big deal that a card like this is in black and we're about to see why. So bear in mind that we're in bracket 4 here. A Chrome Mox is what we're after. Oh, actually it's Mox Diamond that combos, isn't it? It's not Chrome Mox. I've added the wrong card, but we can still do it. Let's show another combo instead. This is the beauty of having so many combos. Still put Chrome Mox in the bin. It's a 0-mana artifact that we want. So in that case, let's go for the Vexing Bauble after all. I'll play the Underground River because we've got 2 lands to make. Vexing Bauble, if a player casts a spell and 0 mana was spent to cast it, then that will be countered. That is true of our cards as well as our opponents. That's why we've got no Fierce Guardianship or Force of Will in the deck. And again, we ping our opponents, so we're back up to 21, negating the life that we had to spend on that. And now we'll cast the Chrome Mox for 0 mana. This could have been Lotus Petal or some of the baubles that are in the list. So we pay 0 mana and 3 life in order to cast the Mox. And now the client's deciding to bug out, so hopefully, there we go. So 1 damage, 1 lifelink damage to each opponent. The Vexing Bauble is eventually going to counter the Chrome Mox. I don't know what the client's doing, but I think you all get the idea. So Vexing Bauble counters it, and we'll let Noctis resolve, so we just float between 18 and 21 life here. And we just do this forever with our opponents tapped out, and nothing they can do at this point. It's probably better that I went for this combo anyway, because if they went for some kind of free instant speed interaction, the Vexing Bauble would have countered it anyway. Alright, and now I've just passed through to combat. We'll have to go through to the second main now. The client's bugging, so pass priority twice apparently. But we've got the win here. Yeah, and the client's bugging out again, so we'll just call that a victory, I think, unless I can actually get further ahead here. It's infinite lifelink damage to our opponents, meaning that we don't go down to 0 life at any point. Alright, and the client's just crashed entirely and quit out and thrown me onto the desktop, so we'll leave our opponents in peace and they can play out the rest of that game if they want to in an actual fun manner. But yeah, I've just come into the deck list now and I've actually changed my my error. So we had Chrome Mox in here, which is when it enters, exile something underneath it and tap for a mana of that colour. What I should have done is added the Mox Diamond. This is the combo I was referring to. So basically what you do is you cast this and then you're supposed to discard a land as well to make it tap for mana. If you don't do that, it just ends up being sacrificed and going straight to the bin again. And if you can keep your life total up while you do it with something like the Black Mage's Rod or the Aetherflux Reservoir, then you're not losing out on the life, and you just do that an infinite number of times, because this actually never hits the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It is countered on the stack when you don't discard a land, so you can just cast the Mox Diamond infinitely as long as you don't lose life, like I said. So that's what I was going for, and added the wrong Moxen apparently, but now rectified that and got to show you one of the myriad of different combos in the list anyway. Like I said, Noctis is a combo machine, so there's always plenty of other things to rely on, even if you mess up like I did there. Feels like a very short one this time around, but hopefully you all enjoyed seeing Noctis, Pride of Lucis, and if you want to see more of it as ever, then you must let me know in the comment section. Massive thank you to the patrons for bringing you every video that we upload on this channel. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.